Here at Pass the Joystick, we usually talk about games that we want to play every week and the games that we do play every week. And one game that's been pretty much every single episode is Smite. This is one game that I have talked about very avidly since literally, I want to say, yeah, the first episode. And at the time, it was pretty much just me that played it and one of his cousins, Pablo's cousins to be exact. And then eventually, as time went on to this day, we all start playing it now. It's pretty fun. And that brings up the question, should you play Smite? And why shouldn't you play Smite? That's another thing to think about. That kind of goes into multiple different ways of thinking about why people want to play these type of games. MOBAs aren't usually something you see on consoles, especially. It's mostly a PC heavy genre, League of Legends, Dota, things like that, and top-down views, which most games are like that. But this MOBA just happens to be one of the few games, or if not the only MOBA that currently exists now because RIP Battleborn and Gigantic. But this game is a third-person shooter, and that aspect, I guess you could say, for the camera perspective. And it brings a different dynamic, which a lot of people really aren't used to, and I wasn't really used to myself, but the more you get into it, the more interesting it gets, the more dynamic it gets, and the more you realize that there's so much that goes into this game that you can learn, and if you learn, you get more benefit out of it. The game becomes more fun, or you just kind of roll with it, find someone who looks really cool with really nice skin, and that's it. That's your go-to. So honestly, that kind of goes. And every now and then you'll see people eventually just pick one character, run with that character, and they end up loving the game because of that one character. So why should you play Smite? In my opinion, if you are going to get into Smite, definitely try it with a friend. Somebody who either does play the game or doesn't play the game. It becomes so much more enjoyable when you have someone there with you, and you guys can learn off each other. It's a fantastic experience when it comes to that. And not only that, but you could play crossplay. So you're going to see people on Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, PC, and you could all play together. Sometimes you could have everyone from every different console in the same lobby, and it works. You could do game chat if your Switch allows that, of course. But it's a fantastic experience, and in my opinion, the devs really do care for a lot of the community's requests, wants, and the fact that you can play with everyone together, minus some like PS4 caveats that don't allow you to do crossplay there for skins and stuff like that, or cross collection you call it. Everything else works fantastic. It's definitely one of the few games that have still been going on since 2014. It's 8 years strong at this point, especially since they started from season 0, so I guess you could say, 9 seasons, whatever it may be. But the game evolves every single week, and that's something you rarely see nowadays, and multiplayer games especially a game on console, which did start back on the OG Xbox, Xbox One to be exact, then went to the One X, got its 4K update, and now here we are. The game's been just constantly updated, just along the lines of like Apex and stuff like that, but the player community isn't as big as it would be on that consoles, so you don't really see the popularity there. Either way, there's a ton of variety. There's 112 characters in the game, so you really wouldn't get bored in terms of searching. There's a lot of different playstyles, there's a lot of different items that you could choose from, and good thing about that is you could just let the game do it yourself. Just learn how to play the game, let the game take care of all the mechanics for you. So it's very forgiving, and it just kind of lets you enjoy, playing with some friends and doing a lot of the fun stuff that you're probably looking at right now. So it's also a very in-depth game, in which if you decide you want to learn it, go ahead and learn it. You're gonna go probably 10 plus hours just learning a single character, and then even then, once you get into that single character, there's probably some more stuff down the line that you'll find out, that I learned to this day. And every time one of us kind of teaches somebody else something new, or even myself, it's always a fun time. So if you're ever thinking about getting into the game, definitely give it a try. It's free, why not? Again, you play on any single console you want. It's not that big of a download, so you'll probably see it around like 20 gigs and stuff depending on your system. You could also have different modes. So like, let's say you want to do like a deathmatch mode. There is a deathmatch mode available. It's called Arena. You just pretty much kill everyone until the game's over. The people who have the most points at the end win. There's a little counter that's usually on the screen for that. There's a 3v3 mode. That's also fun. That's straight to the point, and most people usually play that. And then there's the 5v5 main mode called Conquest. That's the one that you're probably watching the most of currently in the video. That is the most fun mode in my opinion. It's something that you can use different characters and different items in different areas of the map and kind of get a feel for different things. The gameplay is a lot slower, so normally it's kind of something you have to adjust to, but once you kind of get your feet in and once you're kind of like in there, it becomes a very, very fun time. Personally, I didn't like Conquest honestly until maybe like I want to say a year or two ago. I was pretty much just playing mostly Joust and Arena with my friends and stuff like that. But once you get a really good solid squad in there, it becomes a lot of fun, and it's something that Again, since they update every single week and they're adding new characters every month at this rate, you're probably going to see someone that you may like. Last year they added Mulan, who was apparently a very highly requested character, even though she wasn't a god. And on top of that, you got the Avatar set. So you got Aang, Zuko, and sorry if I got her name, Korra, and then the turtles, of course. So that's something that a lot of people are bringing themselves into now, because a lot of people started the game around that time. That's usually when the player spiked. But even then, you're probably going to see some more stuff around this year that's going to bring more people into the game. Definitely take it a look. If you don't want to play the game, I'd say, or if it's something that's keeping you from playing the game, it's probably the fact that it's a MOBA. But yeah, here's another Pass the Joystick video, y'all, and y'all be safe. Take care.